Chef Nancy clapped her hands. I have a surprise. There are 3 scallops on your plate and only 1 of me, so let's bring out 2 more judges. Chef Gary Lee and Chef Amy Copley burst through the doors. Everyone gasped, then clapped and cheered. Mark zoomed in for close-ups. Ray and Oliver were smiling, but Tate and Caroline looked worried. We'll start with Caroline and Tate, said Chef Nancy. Chef Amy picked up her fork. Is that carrot mash? Tate nodded, then remembered Chef Nancy's lesson about words. It's a caramelized roasted carrot puree. Chef Gary grabbed his fork and stabbed a scallop. Sounds good. My mouth's watering. He scooped up some of the puree, then delicately took a bite. Wow, good crunch on the crust. Is that coconut oil? Caroline perked up. Yes, Chef. I like the sweetness. It's unexpected. Thank you, Chef. The puree has a nice flavor, though. It might just be a little too sweet. Scallops could use just a little bit more bite. A taste of a bit of spice with this puree, you could push it more. Chef Amy held up her empty fork. The sweetness works for me. But plus, that scallop was cooked to perfection. My turn. Chef Nancy reached in with her fork and speared the last scallop. She took a bite. Ah! She spit it into her napkin. Too sweet? Asked Chef Gary. Too rubbery. Chef Nancy looked at the half scallop still on her fork. Wait, why is the end cut off? What happened here? There was no choice. Caroline and Tate had to explain. Chef Gary listened, then shook his head. That's too bad. Remember, the plate is your stage. If you're not proud of what you've made, leave it off. Thank you, Chef. Caroline spoke for the both of them. Tate was too sad to talk. The judges moved over to Oliver and Ray. Their expressions said as much as their words. They loved their dish. Chef Gary ate his scallop in 2 fast bites. The acidity of the basil lemon crema and the perfectly cooked scallop. The texture. I think I can say I'm officially speechless. How did you manage such a perfectly seasoned dish? I can't. Chef Amy nudged Chef Gary. Not so speechless after all. Everyone laughed. Chef Gary, Chef Amy, and Chef Nancy stepped away to discuss the competition, but there was no suspense. It was clear who'd won. When they came back, Chef Gary made the announcements. Congratulations, Oliver and Ray. You are the winners of this challenge. Ray would have high-fived with Oliver, but he wasn't a high-five kind of guy. So instead they just awkwardly nodded at each other, grinned, and walked over to the gadget wall. Veggie chopper? Ray held up her pick. Microplaner, said Oliver, and he tapped the edge of her chopper. It was almost like a high-five. Ray smiled. Key idea. What happens after the chefs taste the dish that Oliver and Ray made? Analyze character. Reread paragraphs 65 to 63. Why do Caroline and Tate look worried when the 2 new judges appear on the stage? Stretch. How do Ray and Oliver act after they win the competition? What does their behavior tell you about how they feel about each other?